So, how exactly do you get hired by the largest government department in the Philippines? If you've ever looked at the Department of Education, DepEd, and just kind of wondered how anyone actually navigates that massive hiring bureaucracy, well, you are definitely in the right place.
Welcome to this explainer. Today we're breaking down DepEd Order number 007, series of 2023. That's the official set of guidelines covering recruitment, selection, and appointment. We're going to take what is essentially a super dense 26-page policy document and translate it into a really clear step-by-step roadmap for your journey as an applicant. Here's a quick look at the 5 stages we'll be walking through today. 1. The merit-based promise. 2. Finding open vacancies. 3. The application checklist. 4. Evaluation and assessment. And 5. The final appointment. Starting off with Section 1, the merit-based promise. Right before a single piece of paperwork is filed or any interviews are scheduled, there are these foundational rules designed entirely to protect you, the applicant. This whole DepEd policy isn't just some random internal memo. It is actually anchored straight into the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines. It clearly states that appointments in the civil service shall be made only according to merit and fitness. That is the absolute bedrock of this entire hiring framework. To back up that constitutional mandate, DepEd relies on 6 core guiding principles: merit, competence, fitness, accountability, transparency, and equal opportunity. What this actually means for you on the ground is that the whole system is built to be totally free from partisan activities. It's an equal playing field. Whether you're already an insider or a brand new external applicant, the rules dictate that getting the job must be based strictly on your relative qualifications and your actual competence. Moving on to Section 2, finding open vacancies. Okay, so transparency really starts right here. A job posting can't just be some vague "we're hiring" sign. The publication details must clearly display the exact qualification standards. We're talking education, training, experience, and eligibility requirements. These openings literally have to be published on the official Civil Service Commission website. Plus, they need to be posted in at least 3 highly visible physical places. And you'll also likely catch them on official DepEd websites and social media portals. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There are strict timelines protecting the visibility of these jobs. Every single open position must be posted for a minimum of 10 calendar days. No exceptions. This ensures that a vacancy can't just be magically flashed on a bulletin board for a few hours just to check a box before they hand the job to a pre-selected favorite. You get a guaranteed 10-day window to spot the opening. Also, that publication is only valid for a maximum of 9 months. If HR doesn't officially hire someone within that 9-month window, they can't just quietly slip someone into the role later. They strictly have to republish and repost the vacancy, starting the whole timer all over again. Up next, Section 3, the application checklist. Once you've spotted the vacancy, we hit the critical paperwork phase. This is where you need to be incredibly organized. DepEd has a very strict checklist of mandatory documents. Before that official deadline hits, you absolutely must submit your letter of intent, a duly accomplished personal data sheet, your valid PRC license if you need one for the role, your transcript of records, training certificates, and your previous employment and performance records. Oh, and crucially, you also have to submit an omnibus sworn statement. That's you legally certifying the authenticity of everything you just handed over. And keep in mind, absolutely no additional documents are accepted after the deadline, period. And we really need to be crystal clear about this. As an applicant, you assume total responsibility for the completeness and authenticity of your submission. Any false or fraudulent document submitted is an immediate ground for disqualification. Yeah, it's a strict system, but it's exactly what ensures fairness for everyone who's actually playing by the rules. Section 4, evaluation and assessment. So, you've handed in your paperwork. What actually happens to it behind closed doors? First up, the Human Resource Management Officer, or HRMO, conducts an initial evaluation. Now, this isn't about scoring you yet. It's basically a strict binary filter. They check your documents against those minimum qualifications for education, experience, training, and eligibility. You're then put into one of 2 buckets: qualified, which gets a Q, or disqualified, which gets a DQ. And if you are disqualified, you actually get official communication explaining exactly why, which is pretty helpful. Now, if you get that Q, your application moves up to the HRMPSB. That stands for the Human Resource Merit Promotion and Selection Board. This is the official multi-member board that's actually responsible for conducting the comparative assessment of all the qualified candidates. Essentially, these are the folks doing the real scoring. The board uses a few different techniques to score your competencies. First, there's a really detailed paper evaluation that uses highly specific rubrics to award points for your education, training, and experience. Next, depending on the exact position, you're going to undergo a behavioral events interview, written exams, or skills tests just to gauge your potential and how well you fit the organization. Finally, they might do a background investigation. That means they'll actually verify your credentials by contacting your old schools or former bosses. But here is what's really empowering about this whole policy: the open ranking system. Transparency isn't just a buzzword here. This system dictates that applicants actually get to be present to witness the evaluation, and scores are disclosed to everyone attending. You get an explicit opportunity right there to ask questions and seek clarifications about your individual results. You literally have to sign your individual evaluation sheet to acknowledge your scores. Talk about keeping it out in the open. Finally, Section 5. The final appointment. Let's get to the best part: actually landing the job. After all the assessments are completely finished, the HRMPSB compiles the final scores. For teaching positions, they build what's called the CAR-QR. That's the comparative assessment result of the registry of qualified applicants. Think of it as the ultimate VIP list containing only the candidates who successfully met the cutoff score. Once this list goes to the appointing authority, usually the school's division superintendent or the regional director, they do get to exercise their sound discretion to make the hire, but their choice is strictly limited. They absolutely must select the new hire from the top 5 ranking candidates on that list. This is known as the Rule of 5, and it basically guarantees that only the highest qualified individuals make the final cut. Now, the policy does acknowledge a few specific legal exceptions and priorities. For example, when hiring senior high school teachers, strict priority goes to applicants who are licensed professionals, people who have passed the PBET, LET, or LEPT exams. Also, thanks to the localization law, priority is granted to bona fide residents of the actual barangay, municipality, city, or province where the school is located, assuming they meet all the minimum qualifications, of course. And guess what? Even after the appointment is made, the transparency mandate keeps going. Duly approved appointments have to be announced via a posted notice for at least 15 calendar days. During that window, if an applicant on the registry feels genuinely aggrieved, they have a strict 15-day period to file a formal written protest regarding the appointment. The system is designed to remain accountable right up to the very final moment. So, we've unpacked the strict standards, the open ranking transparency, and the precise timelines that govern DepEd's hiring process under Order No 007. Yes, the bureaucracy is dense, but as you've seen, it's deeply structured to protect merit and protect you. Knowing these rules inside and out is literally your greatest advantage. So are you ready to navigate your government hiring journey with confidence? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.